In this video, I'm going to show you how to add or duplicate existing prints that you have added to your website from SBS Art and Photo. So Spirit Printing has set up the ability for you to sell prints, and they will process the orders for you. This may change at some time in the future, but for now, that is what's going to happen. So what will happen is once your store is ready and launched, we'll go ahead and log into your store. Once you're logged in, you're on this home page here. You can click over here on the left-hand side, you click on products. And if you notice, you're going to see all of your products are here. And notice how the word print is at the end of each of these products. So it is done that way on purpose. If we click on collections here, these are your categories. So your categories are where all of your products go. Prints is considered a dynamic or a smart category or a smart collection, meaning that if I click on prints and I scroll down here, you're going to see some conditions. It says if the tag is equal to prints, if the title contains print, if the title contains prints, or the tag is equal to print. And what this means is any of these things that are added onto your product will automatically assign it to prints. So let's take a look at the front end of the website here. So if I go to prints, all my prints are automatically and dynamically assigned to this collection without me having to manually put them on here. If I go back into the admin and click on products, I'll click on a regular product. In this case, it's a print. Now, I do highly recommend that you add some type of description to these prints. It does help you. It helps the consumer to understand what the print is, not just to see what it is, but also to purchase it. Further down, you're actually going to see the media. You actually see the print that's here. If you had additional photos of this print, you would actually select this little button here. It'll pop open another window, and you can upload and add some more media. The category is usually assigned automatically, but you can always select on this right here. And all this is this is for Google and other search engines and other filters and across different sales channels to understand how to classify your artwork and your print. So this has nothing to do with what's on your website, but what it's connected to, considered a sales channel. And a sales channel is something like Facebook, Google Merchant. The online store is a sales channel, as well as Instagram, TikTok Shop, etc. So you can connect all that stuff. We're not going to get into that in this video, but that's how it's done. If you notice over here, you got the status called active. So if it is active, that means that the product is available. If it's in draft, it's not available. And if it's unlisted, it's unlisted and accessible only by a direct link, meaning that you would have to send the preview link to someone to actually see the product. It will not be visible on the front end of your store. Now, if you look at this thing here, it says publishing. Now, I'll go ahead and click here. And what this is this is the sales channels. These are the sales channels. So right now, it shows up on point of sale, which you're not using. It does it by default in case you do decide to use a point of sale system. You don't have to uncheck this. You can if you want, but just leave it by default. It doesn't matter. Online store is your existing store that we have on Shopify. And then if you had other sales channels connected like TikTok Shop, Facebook, or Google Shop, they would also show in here. So you have the ability to show just the product on your site and then show it on selected other sales channels. So if you wanted to show it on Facebook but not Google, you can just tick off the little ticker here. This little thing called Shop is something that's built into Shopify. When you go through the checkout, if somebody has an account with Shop, they can also check out with Shop. That's all that means. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel. Next thing down here, you have product organization. So you can actually put in type. And if you wanted to put prints here, you can. You can put print if you wanted to. And then vendor, it's going to default to your name or whatever that we set up there. Collections, you'll notice that it's automatically assigned to prints. But in the future, say you had an original artwork and you wanted to have that as well, I wouldn't assign it one product to multiple collections. I would create a separate product just as an original art piece so that you can control how it's sized and how it's sold. Now, if this was a brand new product and I said add product and I started going through the whole process, it's a whole different thing. You'll have to put in the name here, print, tags. If you wanted to tag this with the word print, so you don't have to do that because we have the word print in the title. But say for some reason you had a pet peeve and you didn't want the word print in the title, which I don't recommend, but say you just wanted it called Weird Cat, right? You can do that, but then you're going to need to assign it some way to the collection. So you would have to put a tag in here called print or prints. And then you'd select add print. And what that'll do is that's going to dynamically assign this product to the prints collection. Going further down the page, you're going to see size, you'll see paper type, and you'll see frame. Now, each of these has additional options where you can add more. So if you wanted to add another size, you could. If you wanted to add another paper type, you could. If you wanted to add that it's framed, you could. We're not doing that, and that's not the way that anything is set up right now, so we're just going to leave it that way. I just wanted to show you there is the option there. Now, if you go down further, you're also going to see that you have the price for this 11 by 14 on white paper, unframed. It's $35. You can change this if you wanted to 35, to 50, 75, whatever you want. So if I do say change this, say I change this to 50, I have to make sure at the top here that I select save so that it saves it for the product. I'm going to leave it at 35 and not touch it. You'll come down a little further and it's going to have these other suggestions available for category meta fields, color, artwork, frame, material. Just leave this all alone. You don't need to touch this. And then down here further, you have something called search engine listing. So if you wanted to really control the way that this is going to look online to somebody, because right now it's going to look like this, Russell Parker, and then you're going to have Parker on paper, Weird Cats. So we can change this, get in here like this, and you could say Weird Cat print, and you could say by Russell Parker. And then you want to put a little base sales, shop, Parker on paper, and then you just, put in here what you want to say about the actual product, okay? And then notice the little save button also shows down here on the right, but there's also one at the top. I'll just select save. So now say I want to add another product without having to go through the original, setup. If I select it over here on the right-hand side, I selected add product. I have to go through and I'll put the name in. I got to type this in. I have to upload the image here. I've got to, add the price in, and then I have to make the variants, right? So the frame, the size, and it's a little difficult, right? You have to add the variants down here. It gets a little tedious. So an easy way to do it is just select products. You select a product that's active and is a print, and you just click this word duplicate right here. So once I select the duplicate, it's going to show me the title. So I want this to be, get rid of the word copy. And then I'm going to change this to my new print, my new art work, okay? And then I'm going to leave dash print, which will automatically assign it to the prints collection for me. Media, I don't want to copy that same media, so I'm just going to deselect that. You could leave translation set. And then if you don't want to show it yet, you can set it as a draft, but I'm just going to change it to set as active. And then it tells you it's going to be published in 3 sales channels that we just saw: point of sale, online store, and shop. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on duplicate product. So now I've got the same exact product, 11 by 14 size. I've got it on vibrant white paper. I have it unframed, and then it has $35, and it has the same SEO setting. So you do have to go through and edit this a little bit, right? So you have the name, and then notice that it copied the tag, and then it's going to assign this into the print collection. You don't see it yet, but it takes a few minutes for it to show up there. But if I go on the front end of your website, I will see this. So let's see if it is available. Let me refresh. And here we go, my new art print, but there's no image. Most of the time what will happen is you're going to take these really large images and you need to make them smaller for the website. And so how you do that is I typically will just use Photoshop, but you can use Canva or you can use any other photo manipulation program that you want. I'm going to use Photoshop. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to Photoshop and say, here's my 2 grenadiers PDF, and it's 13.7 megs. We don't want to upload images that large. Plus, we can't upload a PDF into Shopify for the product image. It has to be a JPEG or a there's another website I'm working on. It has to be a JPEG or a PNG file. So if we look at this, this is 11 by 14 inches, which is great, right? So that's the whole thing. But what we need to do is we need to make the image size of this smaller. So if you look at this, it's 3,300 by 4,200 pixels. We just need to change it to 1920, or I'll go here, 1920. And you can make it even smaller if you want. So you can actually go, because this is just what people are going to see online. So it doesn't really need to be a huge file. Okay, so you could even go to 1200, and then it'll make the file size even smaller. But if you notice this, it's at 300. This is 300 dots per inch. So we don't need that. We can change it to 72. But then if we do that, make sure that we do change this to a little higher size. So now I've got this 1920 at 72 dots per inch, and I'll select OK. So now I have my nice image here, and it still looks good, right? It's not going to make it any sharper if you increase the pixel resolution for online. It's only for print, right? We want the print resolution to be super high, and then online artwork does not need to be that high. So I'm going to go ahead and export this, and then I'll just go File, Export, Export As, and then I want to make it a JPEG. So if you notice over here, it's 1.2 megabytes. Now I'll change this to a PNG file, and it changes to 4.8 megabytes. It doesn't enhance or add or change or make this any better. JPEGs are better for photography, for imagery, and then PNG files are usually good for flat colors and things like that. So let's just go ahead and go export, and then I'm going to call this. Let's get in here, and I'll call this test. Okay. So I'll select save. Well, if I'm going to stay with the actual naming conventions for my website, I'm going to call it my new artwork, right? So if I just worked on a brand new piece of art and I'm going to be sending this into SPS Spirit Printing, you're probably going to want to call this whatever the name of the artwork is. So it'd be my new artwork. And it is going to be the size 11 by 17, let's say by 14. And it doesn't have to be white frame print or anything like that, but you just put your name in here, Russell Parker. .jpg, right? You just get rid of that. I think it's going to automatically put it on there for me. All right, so you put the artist name in here. You're going to put the size in here because we only have the one size right now. And then we have the name of what the actual product is, or the print is. So now everybody knows what this is going to be, right? So I'll hit save. And you do that for your original files when you're sending it to Spirit Printing. But for the website, we're just going to keep it simple. Now, I'll go back over here to the website, and I'm going to go ahead and upload that image now. So now I'm back inside here, and I'm on my new art print, and I'm going to click on Upload New. My new artwork, notice it's 1.2 megabytes. It's making a nice little processing thing here. The other information on here, everything looks good, except for this little bit down here where it's called Weird Cat. So I need to change that. So let's just go ahead and copy that. Go down to our SEO thing here. Let's go ahead and change this to my new artwork print by Russell Parker, or whoever the artist is. And then we'll hit save. And now when I go onto the front end of the website and I hit refresh, I'll now see the image and it's ready to be ordered. So it doesn't take very long to just duplicate a product and do some changes. But notice when I click on this, I still have a nice big image. Look at that, right? I'll click on that and then look. Really nice. Look at that. All right. Very simple. Easy peasy, parcheesi. Any questions, please let us know. Thank you.